What's going on? Welcome in, everybody, to week six of the RES College Football Show. And this one is going to be a banger because not only is my good friend Eddie Walls going to give you his best college football looks of the week, he's going to give you some of his early NBA looks, some looks on regular season win totals. So we're going to do that at the end of the show. We're going to get through college football. He's going to give you a best bet here in just a minute. But at the end of the show, he's going to give you some win totals on the NBA. And I don't want to speak for you, Eddie, but he absolutely crushes these. So, we're going to hope to keep that going here at the end of the show. Welcome in, everybody. I am John Martin. I'm the host here on the RES College Football Show. This is Eddie Walls. Eddie, always good to see your face. And, the people get used to it, man. They come here, they want the pick. We start with you, right? We give the winner, and then we give the fade guide at the end of the show. So what's our best bet for week 6 in college football?
So not true, man. All right. The best bet of the week is Boston College at Pittsburgh, game 339 over 56. There's some 55.5s out there at some books that you can't really bet a whole lot of money at. But nonetheless, I really like this matchup for a couple of reasons. First of all, neither team can run the ball. Both teams have really weak pass defenses. Boston College hasn't played an under until last week, where Lonergan threw the interception on the 2-yard line against Cal, and Cal has a much better defense than Pittsburgh. I'm just here to tell you. And I also think that both teams' passing offense is no problem. Running offense, definitely a big problem. And with Narduzzi, you're going to get blitzes, I don't know, at like a 50% rate minimum sometimes. I couldn't find any reason why people were betting this down, but I'm more than happy to give it out to you now that they have. It's kind of been a weird market this week, and the fact that there's been a lot of moving up, moving down. I think we're at that time of the year where there's a lot of groups fighting for numbers, and they moved it just down enough for where we could give this out. So I was super happy about it. I think that Pitt is an underrated over every single year. People see Narduzzi, automatically suspect offense. He's actually been a very, very good over coach, and Bill O'Brien has no problem trading points, especially with a secondary that was kind of weak against Michigan State, very weak against Cal. I don't really have any reason why I wouldn't bet this over, so I feel really good about it.
Circa to 58. Of course, we see this on Odds Logic. Circa to 58. You're seeing Buckeye go to 57.5. So just another Thursday when Eddie moves a major main FBS side or total by 2 points. All right, that's what we do on this show. So there you go. That is the best bet from Eddie in week 6. Make sure you download and sign up for the Odds Logic odds screen. It is the best in the business. All right, without further ado, let's get into it, Eddie.
Let's do it.
Texas at Florida. This is Texas minus 6.5, total here at 42.5.
Yeah, I don't have anything in this game. I kind of like Florida. I think that Texas has not impressed me. Neither team has impressed me at all. I would love to see the write-up on over. These guys, they're hitting the over today. I mean, there's weather, there's wind. We have 2 quarterbacks who haven't shown any ability to complete passes. We have defenses that have been rather outstanding. Unfortunately, I'm pretty close to the number on both the side and the total. So it's just a pass for me. I was hoping for like a 7.5 or a 9 or a 10, to be quite honest, just because I think Texas has been that bad. I mean, their inability to move the ball against San Jose State and UTEP was very, very telling to me. So I liked that. What would
this number have been preseason? I mean,
3.5, 4, probably somewhere in there. I mean, everybody was so high on Florida, and intuitively, I was just like, man, what if Lagway isn't as good as we thought? Because he looked terrible until like week 8 or week 9 last year, and then he kind of came into his own. But there were all these reports that he was injured in the preseason, and I think those are true. I mean, he was wearing a boot in certain parts of camp this year. So I guess the writing was on the wall, and I just didn't see it. And then I was always suspicious of Manning. I mean, because like if Manning was that good, then he would have started last year in the playoffs. And I mean, I remember watching a ULM game and being like, well, he's a really good runner, but other than the one long pass, I didn't really ever see him dominate. So yeah, that was big.
All right, moving on down the list. And by the way, we have times now on these banners. People,
there you go.
We need times. All right, now you have rotation number, you have team name, and you have times. So I don't want to hear it. All right. Everything's been laid out. Vandy at Alabama. Alabama off a huge win on the road at Georgia, laying 10.5 with a total of 55.5 here with Vanderbilt coming to town.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I am really somebody I really respect is on the under in this game, and I just can't get there. Like Pavia has turned into possibly one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I'm not really sold that they have a great pass defense. I know that Ty Simpson is much more impressive than I could possibly think. You have 3 NFL wide receivers on Alabama, and you have injuries on the defense on both sides. I was at 56 and I was at 10. I was really hoping to play Vandy just because I really enjoy watching them and I'm a big fan of their program. But I mean, I just don't have a number that would possibly get me there.
We have some questions in the chat. Eddie, what's that emblem on your hat?
I think it's a North Dakota State. I don't know. I get hats. People give me hats. I'm a hat collector. So all of my friends seem to give me a lot of hats. I have probably 100 hats. I don't know.
Got it. So it's not like a pagan witchcraft symbol.
I have no idea. I'm not really sure. I guess I could switch the hat if you want. I got a new Baltimore Orioles hat like 2 weeks ago.
No, I think they were just curious. They
not really sure.
Fashion god Eddie Walls. All right, that's you're couture. That's what people want to know about your fashion when you come up.
Jesus, I'm about the most least fashionable guy ever. I mean, I used to hang out with Dink, so I've got like that going for me. Dink used to wear socks all the way up past his knees and then short shorts and sandals. It was great. I remember asking him one time, he's like, "What am I, a model?"
You're a model. You're a model for RAS. I'll tell you that with these best bets. Hey, I have a couple of random questions here that I want to throw at you before we get to the games. Do you like John Sumrall? Angelo Dickhouse asks.
I mean, what's not to like? I mean, he's absolutely fascinating. He took a Sun Belt team that was down in the dumps and won 2 conference championships with them, goes to Tulane. First year, takes a rookie quarterback that nobody heard of in Mensa, gets into the AAC championship game where they lose to Army. He can coach both sides of the ball. Obviously, this is his last year at Tulane, so I imagine he's going to take the Kentucky or the Arkansas job if they open up. But, I mean, the guy's a stud for sure. I don't see any downside in him.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Boise State at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, of course, coming off of that walloping, ending the career and the tenure of Sam Pittman at Arkansas, favored by 20.5, total here of 62.5.
Yeah, I personally don't have anything in this game. It was an RAS release, which makes a ton of sense. They played under at a number that I wasn't aware was available at the time. Otherwise, it would have been a play for me as well. Boise is probably the best defense in Texas A&M that they've seen, but they're also very methodical on offense. They have a pretty big offensive line. They're going to try and run the ball, try to play it very, very slow, try to keep Madsen from out of 3rd and longs. And their defense is very stout up front. So you'll probably see a more run-based heavy packages for Notre Dame. The only concern I ever have with these kind of games is Notre Dame does need style points at this time of year. Well, for the rest of the year. It's 65, 64.5 is a lot different than 62, 62.5 for me. Those are key numbers. But yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. I hate to say it, but I kind of I showed numbers to the dog and I just wasn't comfortable playing it. I was at 18.5, 18. I thought it would go to 20, 21.5. So, I mean, Boise is a pretty lively program. They're not just going to go out there and lay down. I mean, that's a team with a lot of pride and a couple of NFL offensive linemen and a really big defensive line. And I don't know. I always kind of like Boise every single year more than the market, though. That's just the way it rolls.
Yeah, Austin said largest underdog roll for Boise since 1999. So to your point about showing value there, I haven't back tested that, but it sounds correct based on the run they've had. So should be an interesting one. All right. Miami at Florida State. Florida State off that deflating loss to Virginia on the road. Craziest field storming we've seen in quite some time.
Has anybody checked on the health status of those guys that were in the end zone?
I haven't heard anything, but I was like immediately concerned for that guy's health. Like, yeah,
seriously, like the wide receiver and DB, I'm not sure if they're still alive. That was
they were still wrestling over the ball. I mean,
it's absolutely insane. I thought when I saw that might be the last field storm that we ever see, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
I mean that was definitely dangerous. So I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, he's like, what would you do if you were 20 years old, sitting that close to the field, and you pull off an upset for the first time in program history of a top 10 team or whatever? I don't know in history, but a long time. And I was like, well, when I was 20, I was probably drinking a lot of Keystone Lights, so I don't know. I guess I probably would have done the same, but it was scary looking for sure.
It was. Florida State was a little scary looking at times in that game as well. Now they host Miami. Miami -4, total here of 54.5.
Yeah, I played under in this game, and it came back. I mean, I moved it a little bit, and somebody clicked back on me yesterday and this morning. Couple of things here. I just think that Miami has the best offensive line and defensive line in all of college football. I mean, they're the only team that's made Notre Dame stop running the ball in the last 3 years that I can remember. Notre Dame had like 88 yards of rushing in that game. And everybody's like, well, Castellanos is a difference maker, and he's going to be able to run around on the outside. I don't see it. They have 1+ wide receiver on that entire FSU team, and he's big and he's strong. But Miami didn't go out and spend all that money on DBs and a defensive coordinator to get beat by one wide receiver and a running quarterback. I think that they want to play this game very, very slow, kind of like what we saw against Florida, just run it up the middle and, 3-4 yards at a time, keep back clean and away from 4th or 3rd and 10 and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's almost like a bet on Miami. But if you think I'm laying less than a touchdown with Cristobal, no, sir. I mean, that guy can find a way to lose a game better than anybody in college football for sure. So I felt like under was a safer play, and my numbers supported it.
A couple of comments here before we get to the last few. People are accusing me of wearing a life jacket to save myself from drowning in my losing picks. I do want to. This is a vest. This is a vest. It would not save me from drowning.
You'd be drowning, sir, for sure.
Nothing is going to save me from drowning. So I did want to go ahead and address the speculation in the chat about whether or not this was a life jacket. Okay, this was by personal request. Texas Tech at Houston. Texas Tech, I believe, one of two teams, Eddie, that's 5-0 on the record and 5-0 against the spread. The other team being Memphis. Texas Tech is 11.5-point favorite here with a total of 52.
I never look at ATS stuff. I probably should. It might help. But I hope that they continue that streak, because I was told that this is the squarest bet that I've made. But I laid Texas Tech. I don't think the teams go out and spend $35 million in the transfer portal and bring in the two best coordinators on earth to lose games, and they're not losing. They're not winning quietly. They had so many yards against Utah, and that defense is sick. And another thing of note is Shai Wood, the defensive coordinator. He was Tulane's and Houston's defensive coordinator. I'm sorry, just Tulane's defensive coordinator for Willie Fritz. So he knows exactly what Willie Fritz and that offensive coordinator like to do. And I have a common opponent now. I was on Oregon State +14 last week, and they took them to overtime. Oregon State is not good, my friends, like not at all. And there's no way they should have lost that game, but that's a different thing. And I also bet over in the Oregon State Texas Tech game, and it couldn't get over because Texas Tech had taken their starters out in the third quarter. There's a huge talent disparity here. The only thing I don't like is I don't like betting against Willie Fritz, especially as a dog in this situation. But the talent disparity and what I've seen from I have Texas Tech as a top 5 team. That might shock some people, but I knew they were going to be good. I just needed to see it. And after the Utah game, I was like, I got to bump this team up immediately. So once I did, I started showing value, and I'm probably going to show value for a little while. They are going to get involved in a game where they have to trade points, and that does scare me a little bit because of what I've seen out of their quarterback. He did get banged up against Utah, but I don't think that Houston's the team that's going to be trading points with them. So I felt pretty comfortable laying it.
I I often have this conversation with myself about, the booster and the ambassador piece of this and the NIL piece of this. Obviously, Texas Tech is the most well-funded program in the country. So, at least you feel like, hey, I'm getting a pretty good return. I've got a top 5 team here, according to Eddie Walls. My oil money is being well spent.
Yeah, they're going for it, man.
Yeah.
And they got 1 year to do it, I think. I think next year things change. Unless like the SEC and the Big Ten actually branch off, which I doubt will happen immediately. But yeah, I mean, they're going for it on every level. So I can't disagree.
All right, that's going to do it for college football. The moment you've all been waiting for before we get to Eddie's picks here, in the NBA in the regular season. I'm 0-5. 0-5 this year.
Right,
and
take it off, buddy. We've all been through.
And you know what? Like, I still think that's providing value to the audience. That's how I sleep at night. But we're going to try to get a win here at some point this year. We're going to try to do it with the Service Academy. This is going to be for the government shutdown, for the Department of War. We're going to go with the over here. Air Force at Navy over 52. Pete Hegseth said he wants fit troops. All right. He wants no beardos. He wants fit troops. And that's points to me. I think both these teams are super capable of going over this number. Obviously, Navy with their new offense being installed last season, they have just been an over since the new coach took over. And then we know Air Force can score in bunches and do it quickly. So I am going to go where few are willing to go and bet a Service Academy over 52. Should be a really wild ride this week as we attempt to finally get one in the left side of the column. All right, with that being said, what do you got for us, man? NBA preseason is officially underway. Got kicked off in Abu Dhabi earlier today. So what do we like for this NBA season, my friend?
I like a lot. I'm going to do 2 or 3 regular season win totals every week before the season. Usually we do like 1 hour show where I go over every single game. And this year I'm just a little pressed for time. So you're going to have to forgive me, guys. I'm going to go under in the Lakers at 49.5. Few things here. First of all, I know they have Luka and I know they have LeBron, and I know, their starting lineup is fine, except we have DeAndre Ayton starting, which makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why they went out and got him is just so weird to me. So you have a center rotation of Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton. That's not great. We don't know how many games we're going to get out of LeBron. Are they really a top 5 team in the West? I have a hard time believing it. Luka played EuroLeague. I don't know how many games he's going to play. LeBron, I don't know how many games he's going to play. You're going to get some sits from both those guys at some point in the season. If you think that Luka is playing 75 games, you're out of your mind. And then we have a bench of Dalton Knecht, Bronny, Gabe, Vincent, Vanderbilt, Kleber. There's just not a lot of depth here. So any injury whatsoever, I feel pretty good about it. Even without any injury, they're not better than Houston. I don't think they're as good as the Clippers this year, to be quite honest with you. I'm intrigued by what Golden State did with Horford. Denver is massively improved. You're not better than OKC. I just can't possibly get to this number. 50 wins is a really, really big reach for me. So I like the Lakers under. And the second one I'll give is Detroit. I like Detroit over. I think it's 46.5 or 45.5. I apologize. They won 44 last year. That's without Jaden Ivey. Cunningham still has a leap in him. Their division is much, much weaker. Milwaukee has no scoring. Indiana could possibly tank at any given point. Chicago is still Chicago. Cleveland, who I absolutely love, and we'll talk about them at some point. They're still going to be starting the season out without Garland. They lost a lot of key players. Strus and Garland, Merrill and Garland are out to begin the year. I just can't understand how Detroit is only going to win 2 more games than they did last year, where they stopped playing the last week of the season. I have a feeling they're going to be a top 4 seed in the East. I don't really see any downside in this team. I know that they're still youthful, but they got Robinson from Miami, so that helps their perimeter shooting. They got rid of Hardaway, which is a very, very good trade-off if you think about. They're pretty deep, especially at the guard rotation. So I like the Pistons over 45.5, and I like the Lakers under.
I love both those bets. I really do. I mean, because I think all the things you said about the Lakers. LeBron's disgruntled. He's not happy. You heard him the other day, like, playing with Luka does not make me want to play longer. Like, it just feels like that little magic spark we saw in the second half of the season, maybe that's just like the honeymoon phase. And now that the organization has made some moves or not made certain moves, it feels like it's kind of worn off a little bit there in La La Land. I think the loss of Dorian Finney-Smith is a little bit more significant than maybe the market does. I'm not sold on Ayton and Marcus Smart and LaRavia, all these bit guys coming in, and I just don't think the LeBron effect is going to work on them the same way it did on Luka, who was an all-NBA guy to begin with. So I agree totally. And, yeah, how can you not love the Pistons with Cade Cunningham? I mean,
I don't know.
that arrow is way up.
Right. I mean, I guess they came out of nowhere last year and they exceeded all expectations. But I don't see why they couldn't do that this year. I don't necessarily like Bickerstaff, but he's perfect for that kind of role. Right. And they have a couple of young guys that could really take a leap as well. I don't know. I was kind of shocked by the fact that it wasn't higher, and I made it significantly higher. So those were the first two that I bet this year. I really toyed around with just playing unders in the West. I ended up playing one over regular season win total. We'll get to all of them, but I mean, the West is so treacherous that I really think that you wouldn't be that far off by just playing every team under, because they're going to beat everybody. They're going to beat each other up. Like,
right, that's true.
I mean, like the East has like very little talent. The West is just so talent loaded. It's just unbelievable. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of trading of wins. And I mean, it's just fascinating. I don't recall a season where we started where one conference was so much stronger than the other. I would probably make like the Western Conference versus the Eastern Conference like 6-point favorites on neutral. I don't know. It's like, without Tatum, Boston's kind of weird, and I don't know. So yeah.
Just before we get out of here, you moved Detroit's win total here 20 cents basically 2 weeks before the season starts. So pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Okay.
Good stuff. Fun show. We'll keep doing these up to the NBA season. Obviously, Eddie nice enough to share some of his thoughts on the NBA. And, as always, Eddie, my friend, best of luck this week.
Oh, thank you so much. And best of luck to everybody. I hope everybody has a great weekend and wins every bet they make.
See you guys next week.
Okay.